They said last week the trainers have been leaving Kentucky for the tracks that have the casino-driven big purses and cut down on the amount of races. I wish my yearling was ready to go now. The racing right now in Kentucky is probably the most keen real racing going on other than Saratoga. Look at Trainer Ward. Goes over to Ascot and wins historically two races, going away with one of them. Oh, by the way, he trains at Keeneland. Kentucky will always be the nursery to the best breeding in the world. Before it was a billion-dollar industry made out of horses in this area. Kentucky was the place to breed and nurture foals and yearlings because of many natural resources. The right length of the 4 seasons, soil content, a correct topography, a lay of the land for the babies to gallop and develop their coordination, the natural resources of lime and Kentucky bluegrass that feed companies are still trying to put in a feed bag. Go back to the pre-Civil War. The Yanks knew it and gave all their main breeding here, and the Southerners used Ocala that also had natural lime. Kentucky has the seasons that are far more beneficial to a horse's metabolic structure. Kentucky has the cold to keep not only the bad parasites from fruit being fruitful, but also the bacterial funguses that flourish in subtropics. Florida's tough on a horse year-round and subsequently plays havoc on a horse's breathing and viral infections. I've seen it for myself, non-sweaters and other issues that plague them later in their racing career. Florida may be great for training 2-year-olds for the winter, but Kentucky's where they should and always will grow up. Further north, you have the long and harsh winters like New York and Canada. In Kentucky, you can still turn your young horses out throughout the winter between the storms, and the ground isn't as solid as a rock for 4 and sometimes 6 months. The soil here in Kentucky is mixed with a beautiful clay that cups and supports the foal's legs and ultimately their physics for running as they grow up. In Florida, the sand underlying the grass breaks away from the weight of the horse's feet. It even helps produce, I believe, the hoof walls to grow out like a dinner plate instead of a good wall that slopes up. All of which develops the optimum for future performance. For instance, bare, foot, or shod, you have a place for nails to go and stay. So horse people around the world, the casino horsemen aren't horse lovers and wouldn't be in horses if it wasn't for the inflated purses. Horse racing is and should remain a sport of kings. And if you don't have king's spirit, you shouldn't own a horse. Those of you with your backyard pony or show horse or any, as my cynical girlfriend would put, a lawn ornament, you should know in your heart that loving a racehorse to me and should be for all, for the love of it first. Most importantly, the other states may have to do these things to cultivate their revenue. But Kentucky, for all of the history and infrastructure, will always be the capital of the world in thoroughbred breeding and racing. And Kentucky has and will always set the highest standards of the thoroughbred industry. Just look at the Kentucky Derby, the most prestigious race in the world, but by far not the biggest purse. I don't see everybody talking about, for the last 50 years, breeding and racing for the race in the Dubai. What's that for now? And last I looked, it was over $7 million for that one race. No one can buy character or prestige, and Kentucky has more depth of character. So let's try to stick at least some character in this era of selling out and bailouts. Let's let Kentucky set the standards that they always have and remain the kings of thoroughbred racing around the world. Just look at the companies today that have sold out or bailed out and not do it to our thoroughbred breed. Ethics are hard work. Who said anything that is substantive is easy? They can't move the real estate folks, but they can move the greedy horsemen. But remember this, it won't be a Kentucky bred.